Hey guys, Nicolai here. Before we get into some facts about esports players that you may not be aware of.
You guys didn't make it through groups.
We did not.
How do you feel when you're like a favorite and you like, what does that do to you?
It was very depressing. We were joking about suicide.
I first gotta let you know about the sponsor of today's video, Pro Guides. The 2019 League of Legends ranked season is coming to an end in November. If you're not yet gold and won't be receiving the end of season rewards, or you're higher than gold but you want to break your personal record, ProGuides.com can help you. With their exclusive pro courses and most of all, their personal challenger coaches. Sign up with the first link in the description and start getting coached by a pro today. Now with that being said, let's jump into the video. Whether you've watched it or not, you've definitely heard about professional esports. Gamers being paid to compete in video games. The dream. But today I want to talk about some interesting things that you may not know about in the world of esports. Getting started with number 5, we're taking a look at the core of esports teams, their training facilities. If you go back 5 or more years ago, major esports teams played, trained, and operated within houses that were simply rented out traditional homes, with the players basically living in a multiple roommate situation. Most teams had gamer houses that were more or less pretty standard, but others lived in some pretty interesting setups. I say this because while researching, I found this video, a house tour by Cloud9 from 2013. In this video, now ex-professional player High gives us a tour of their house and every bedroom. But then he goes on to show us Sneaky's bedroom.
You would think this is just a bathroom, but little do you notice, there's a little closet over here with a bed inside. Like, literally only fits the bed in, and that's where you sleep.
What the fuck? I still can't tell if this was supposed to be a joke or not. But seeing as he did show every other room in the house, that would mean that, yeah, this is someone's bedroom. And apparently Sneaky's bedroom. Now moving on, within gamer houses, roommate situations will always have to exist. But today people don't sleep in closets. Instead, major esports organizations locate their teams inside of legitimate luxury homes. These high-end training facilities are equipped with everything and anything that the pro players could ever need without ever having to step outside, including meals prepared by a personal chef.
We decided to build a kitchen in the facility. When I talk to players and I ask them their #1 thing on why they want to go to a certain team, they say food. They want really good food. So we decided to hire one of the best chefs that we could find, Manny, and he actually prepares 2 meals a day, 5 days a week for all of the guys to consume. He does all of the custom things for each player as it's needed, and this guy is the bomb. The food is so good.
And what you may not know is that some of the larger teams invest big money into creating incredible training facilities. In 2018, professional esports team OMG from China revealed their brand new esports facility, which literally looks like a f***ing spaceship. And that isn't a coincidence. Reportedly, the building was designed to look like a spaceship. On the screen right now, you're seeing some clips I found of a tour inside the facility. This location is practically the size of a college campus, and the facility is meant to be used for everything the company could ever need. But okay, listen, I don't mean to be a dickhead, but OMG spent all of this money on their training facility, and they didn't even make it to Worlds this year.
Not only did they not make it to Worlds, but they were literally the worst team in China.
Jokes aside, these training facilities do not focus on just one game. They train their players for every game they participate in. This can be games like Overwatch, Rainbow Six, Fortnite, PUBG, etc. And in this instance, OMG has done quite well in PUBG. Also, by the way, for anyone thinking that this is a little too much or unnecessary, well, you're probably right. Moving on to fact number 4, top esports players earn way more than what the average person thinks. I hate talking about people's pockets like this, but one of my reasons for bringing this up is because I've actually seen people who think that this whole esports thing will eventually fade away. And that's a fair opinion. But I've seen people literally think that if their opportunity were to end today, that these guys would have to hurry up and apply to McDonald's in order to continue living. when the reality is that some of these guys have already made enough to be comfortable for the rest of their lives. First, let's take a look at prize money. Prize money is, well, the prize which teams play for in tournaments. Just for example, the 2018 League of Legends World Championship had a prize pool of $6.4 million. This prize pool was spread among all the teams, with first place of course taking the biggest portion, $2.4 million. But for most players, prize money isn't a financial motivator. Cause I mean, if major prize money were your biggest source of income, then, well, NA players would be on the streets begging by now. But instead, majority of esports players are on a set salary by their teams. In 2018, Forbes.com reported that the average LCS salary was close to $320,000. However, the key word is average. Some are bringing in more and some are bringing in less. But it's not too far-fetched to assume that the majority of the guys in the LCS are indeed bringing home at least $100,000 per year. And this doesn't even begin to touch on what some of the top guys are bringing in from streaming, their YouTube channels, and individual sponsor opportunities. Like, did you know that Faker doesn't do many individual sponsors at all? But in 2017, it seems that the Chinese department of Doritos offered Faker a bag that he could not say no to, as Faker appeared in a televised commercial promoting Doritos. And I'ma be real, this is not a good commercial, and Faker looks uncomfortable and awkward throughout most of it. Here's a little bit of it for you guys to get some context. In general, anyone with popularity and genuine followers is able to create diverse lines of income. I mean, this is a completely unique situation, but take a look at Sneaky. I'm sure you already have. But seriously, Sneaky started up this whole cosplay thing and it has been incredibly well received. So well received that Sneaky even has a successful Patreon for his cosplay photos. To receive Sneaky's monthly photo sets, patrons have to pledge at least $10. As of making this video, Sneaky has over 1,300 patrons. If we assume everyone is pledging at least $10, that would mean that Sneaky is bringing in well over $10,000 a month just from his cosplay Patreon. Staying on a similar topic, number 3, mobile esports. To certain players and certain regions, mobile games are huge. And you may already know this, but there are actual legitimate tournaments for mobile games. However, what you may not know is that these tournaments have payouts that compare with other major esports. For the past couple years, Arena of Valor, or Honor of Kings as it is known in China, has been one of the most played mobile games in China. Reportedly, earlier this year during their Chinese New Year event, the game had 92 million active daily users. And with such a popularity comes a thriving esports scene, especially since the game is basically a clone of League of Legends, officially made by the owners of Riot Games. But anyway, let's get to what's important. The Arena of Valor esports scene actually fills up arenas with people who want to see the highest level of mobile gaming action. And the mobile gamers themselves are bringing in quite the paychecks for winning these tournaments. Let's use the most recent Arena of Valor tournament for example. This tournament had a whopping $1.7 million prize pool, with first place taking home $725,000.
Not too shabby.
Moving on to number 2, since we've had so much talk about prize pools, what is the biggest prize pool in esports? Earlier this year, Epic Games hosted the first ever Fortnite World Cup. This tournament had a total prize pool of $30.4 million. And at the time of the tournament, this was the biggest prize pool ever. They surpassed the previous record holder, which was the annual Dota 2 tournament, the International. However, it would seem that Dota values this title, as just a couple months after Fortnite broke the record, they took it back with their 9th annual international tournament, hosting a prize pool of $34 million. The second place team in this tournament, Team Liquid, took home $4.4 million, and first place OG won an incredible $15 million. To put that into an individual perspective, if the 5 players on the team got at least a 10% cut, that would still make them millionaires. 10% would be a total of $1.5 million. Alright, now wrapping it up with number 1, championship rings. In traditional sports, on top of trophies and prize money, players are awarded with custom-made championship rings for winning a title. This started back in 1922 when the New York Giants won the Major League Baseball World Series and the players received championship rings for winning. Since then, more and more teams started following this tradition. And fast forward to today, and essentially every sports league does this. With today, a player's legacy often referred by the amount of rings they have won. For example, Michael Jordan's 6 rings. Now, what I think is pretty neat is that this tradition has crossed over into esports. I can't exactly find when League of Legends started doing this, but Dota 2 has been doing this since 2011. The ring Team Liquid received for winning the 2017 tournament, I think, is especially impressive as it really compares to that of even today's NBA championship rings. But alright guys, that's all for today. If you made it this far and enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. We're starting to make our way to 100,000 subscribers, and we might be able to make it before the year is over. Also, new videos will be coming out more frequently starting today.
Thank you for watching.